Baby, what you telling me? See me, I'm with the gang, lazima hustle.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Just to Kick It is a Blessing podcast with your host, Keith Tupa Gatiramu. Yeah, Kwame Kwams.
Hi guys, hope you've been good. Today we have a special guest. My name is Kwame, for those of you that didn't know. And yeah, today we have a special guest, and we'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Warimi, and yeah, I'm 18. I'm a student at Essex University. I'm studying drama and theater, and I guess today we're talking about mental health, right?
Yes,
Yes, we are.
So I got a bit of a cocktail. I'm allowed to joke about it, man. I've been through a lot, so I have BPD, PTSD, anxiety, and major depressive disorder.
What's BPD?
Yeah,
BPD is borderline personality disorder. A lot of people actually confuse it with bipolar, but it's like quite different.
Oh, okay. First of all, let me even tell the people how this happened. I think I saw a tweet you had written on the 26th of August 2020, which said, a year ago today I was in HDU because I tried to kill myself. Today I'm happy I'm alive, and not to brag, I'm most definitely bragging. I haven't cut myself since February. It gets better, I promise you. So you wrote that tweet, yeah?
Yeah.
And honestly, your story, captivated me, because if there's one thing Kwame always tells me is that no situation is permanent, which, kind of relates the things that, things get better,
Definitely.
So, and I think mental health has become so big within the world right now and our generation. So I was like, from someone who's gone through a lot, which I believe you'll share with us to the extent that you're comfortable. We wanted to hear it from you. So yeah, Kwame, do you have anything to say?
Yeah. First of all, well done, proud, happy to hear that you've gotten out of, you were able to get out of that place, and you're happy. So well done, congratulations. But that's amazing to hear. And yeah, I don't know, just tell us more about what you went through. Just tell us your story, and see if it inspires someone else.
The first thing I actually want to say is I think we need to think about the way we word things, because when you say stuff like, now you're in a better place, I'm not, okay, I am in a better place, but part of being in a better place doesn't mean I don't get suicidal. Yesterday night I had a panic attack, and I wanted to cut myself. I was feeling suicidal, but getting better, I think.
I remember.
Yeah.
Sorry to disrupt you, but I remember we were meant to do this last night. And then 30 minutes before it, I remember you texted me and I was like, having a panic attack. I don't think I can do this today.
Yeah.
And congratulations for being okay today to do it. It's very strong to talk about what you've been through, But now you can continue.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, so basically, I think when we word it like that, especially, I used to feel a lot of, because I've always talked about mental health on my Snapchat, Instagram, everywhere, on every social media I have. And I used to feel a lot of pressure, I couldn't struggle because I was always talking about it gets better. But in actuality, part of getting it, am I gonna cut my, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Speak your truth.
Yeah. So I was like,
it's your story to say.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm feeling like shit. So you ask yourself, am I gonna cut myself, or am I gonna mechanisms I've learned? Am I gonna reach out to a friend? Am I gonna do that? So just that was on the wording. But my story, basically, I think I've always kind of had mental health issues since I was 9 or so. And then my parents had a really bad divorce, and that kind of it messed me up. And there was a lot of family issues and stuff. And we have an addict in our family, so that also affected me a lot. And I was bullied in year 7, and stuff. So I was just going through a lot. We were carjacked, and it's really traumatizing, like seeing like your dad with a gun to his head, you know. So like a lot of stuff went down. Then, you know, obviously puberty and just like life, and like, you know, like when you're 15, like everything feels like the end of the world. So yeah, so that's basically what happened. Just a combination of all of that, and I just had mental health issues. And then obviously I feel like in Kenya is not talked about enough. Like we do start drinking and using drugs at a really young age, and that can definitely affect you if you're going through something, and that becomes like your escape, you know. So yeah.
That's what we even spoke about last time, how people find that as being the easiest way out, you know.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's just like a short-term solution. But you know, in the long run, whatever you're going through is still there, and the drugs and alcohol and everything just make it worse to a certain extent.
Yeah. Like drugs and alcohol to some extent are like they're kind of like self-harm if you think about it, because you're still getting that release, you're still getting that dopamine, just in a different way, you know. Yeah, so that's my story. Yeah.
Out of all the things you mentioned, like that drove you to feel, you know, the like that type of way, yeah. Do you for one thing that we've regularly discussed on this show is like social media. Do you think social media had any effect on what you were going through?
To some extent, but actually for me, social media for the most part was an escape, because it was a place. Okay, actually maybe that's a bad thing now that I think of it, but yeah, it was a place where I could just like, you know, I could just go see what my friends are up to, laugh with them, joke with them. But like to some extent also, when you're seeing people, you're just seeing a small window of someone's life, and you think that's their whole life, and you're like, oh my god, everyone's life is like amazing and mine sucks. And like that's not the truth. No one's gonna like post, well, most people don't post like, oh my god, I'm like fucking depressed, you know. So yeah, but it kind of affected it. And then also obviously I've had my fair share of trolling on Twitter and stuff, and that used to get to me. But then I want to be an actress, so I always tell myself that this is like kind of training for being an actress, you know. So yeah,
Twitter is savage, man. Like when they decide to come for you, man. Like,
yeah. And Kenyan Twitter is the meanest Twitter in the world. Like I think there was a study or something done or something.
Yeah, for sure. Kenyans on Twitter.
They're ruthless.
Like there was a comedian who I think was trolled so long, like he even like burnt his outfit for comedy and stopped doing like comedy anymore, you know. And even when people were writing like we need to be better as Kenyans on Twitter and everything, people were still, you know, writing negative tweets about that, saying, yo, if you're faint-hearted, don't come on Twitter. You know, that like, yo, have we like become so heartless, or are we doing so much for clout or likes? You know, like it really
What?
It really confuses me. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, it's okay. Because even, like, I've seen, like, everyone lately has been posting. And this is actually something that pisses me off about social media, yeah. Like, for example, like, Chadwick Boseman died, like, R.I.P., yeah. And, like, now everyone's like, oh, my God, we need to be careful of what we say. Blah, blah, blah. You never know how it will affect someone. And I understand that, because even someone has like done a lot of shit that like is mean, and I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. But the thing that pisses me off is like people turn around and immediately go and do something just like that, like 2 seconds. Like even when people pass on, or like they've committed suicide, everyone posts this thing of check on your friends, and I'm like, okay, but what about the people who did check on their friends though? Like, how are you making them feel right now? Yeah, that type of stuff upsets me. But anyway.
Okay, I wanted to ask you something. Yeah, I wanted to ask you something. Okay, for me personally, if there's one thing I noticed back when I was in high school, was a couple girls with like, you know, like cuts on their hands and anything, yeah? Like, and you mentioned that you cut yourself a lot. Like, just explain to me like why you do that. Like, does it relieve your pain, or how does it make you feel necessarily? You know?
Trigger warning if you're listening to this and you cut yourself.
yeah.
Trigger warning. Don't listen anymore. But or like be careful. But basically, what happens is when you cut yourself, your body releases like some hormones, like just a bit to like kind of numb you, so it doesn't hurt that much. But because those chemicals are still being released from like your brain, like the same place that's producing those like sad hormones or whatever. What's it called? Cortisol or something? I don't know. My bio is really bad right now. I haven't been in school in a minute. But what do you call it? But yeah, so it kind of like numbs you like temporarily. It's like having a gaff. Like it's having a cigarette. Like it just you feel like like I can't explain it. Like you feel a release of pain. Like you can finally control the pain you're feeling, and there's some sense of relief in that because everything else feels like you're not in control. You're not in control of your emotions, of what's happening in your life. So to be able to control this one thing, and then there's also that element of you probably have a low self-esteem or something, so you feel like you deserve the pain and you want to punish yourself. So but it's different for different people. You see, like different people have different reasons for cutting
Themselves.
Like I know a girl who like she was sad about it and everything. Obviously she was also depressed, but she also was like addicted to like the way they looked. Like she just liked the way it looked on her hands.
Oh.
Yeah, like, and even I kind of did that to some extent because for me like even when my scars fade and stuff, like it sometimes triggers me because you if you've done it for long, you kind of grow an attachment to them, and you're like, this is such a huge part of who I am, and when they start to fade, you kind of feel like you're losing parts of yourself. It sounds really weird. But yeah.
You're coming.
That's interesting. Then what I wanted to ask and understand is what do you do when you're feeling depressed, feeling down, just going through episodes? Like, what did you do back then and what do you do now? Do you like speak to someone? Like, how do you deal with your mental health?
Okay, so I've been in therapy since I was 9. So I've always had a therapist, and I've been on medication since I was 15. But I only recently started like being put on the right meds. They misdiagnosed me, so like I was on the wrong meds. But now I'm like on the right ones. And before they just gave me meds for depression, and then this is actually something I really hate about doctors in Kenya. Like some of the psychiatrists and stuff, like they just want to pump you with meds. Like they don't really talk to you. Like I had this doctor and I talked to him for like 15 minutes and he was like, yeah, it's depression. I don't need to talk to you further. Just take this. And when I went to my new doctor, he was like, those meds aren't even meant for people who are like teenagers. Like you're not meant to give it to them. And I always used to fall asleep during class. Like the first week I was on them, I used to sleep for like 15 hours a day. Like it was crazy. Like now, I couldn't even go to school. Do? Oh, my meds, like the current meds I'm on.
Yeah, no, like even those ones, like what's the purpose or the point of them? Like what do they do to help?
Okay,
you?
Those ones he never really that was the other thing. Basically they just make sure that your brain is getting the right amount of hormone, like the feel good hormones, so that those and then those really high highs, like they just stabilize you basically.
Yeah, I think they're just meant to, from also like personally what I know, I think they're just meant to like balance the hormones out, you know.
Because usually like call imbalance, so they're just giving you what you're lacking, and then over time they can actually slowly wean you off, because like, you know, your body adapts, so it will start trying to but okay, it's not for every case, but like for some people they're able to actually get off their meds eventually.
Okay.
So yeah, wait, what was I answering? So I was in therapy. Sorry, I always like go off. And then I have really great friends. Like I talk. I have really supportive parents. Mm-hmm. I also use these apps on my phone, Calm Harm and Clear Fear. So Calm Harm helps you when you have an urge to cut yourself, and Clear Fear is for when you have an anxiety attack. Mm-hmm. It's really good, or even anxiety about something. They're really good. But the thing, actually, I have to say is like, it's not like I didn't have great friends or like I didn't have a or like I didn't have like amazing parents, or I didn't have these apps. Like I feel like sometimes, and I know this is gonna be like, oh my god, shocking, I can't believe you just said that. People, and I can honestly not want to get better probably until like this year. Like I just didn't. Sometimes you're so comfortable with being, because you're so used to it. The idea
Okay, sorry,
is
one
so
second.
scary, and then you're also
One second. I don't know. Tupac, does it sound like she's breaking?
Yeah, you
Or is it
sound like
just
you're
me?
breaking.
You're breaking, yeah.
oh, for real.
Uh,
Wait, can you hear me
Now you're
now?
perfect.
yeah.
Hello.
No.
Oh, okay, let me hold it here.
Mm.
Wait, no, it's no for you.
Yeah, now you're perfect.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
Nah, Tupac is still a bit.
Hello?
It's still a bit funny.
Yeah.
What is? Did you like? Have you
Real?
moved from where you are?
No, I'm in the same spot.
Okay, now you're okay.
1 second. Am I good?
Yeah, okay, try.
Yeah, now I think you're okay.
Oh, okay. So I was saying, wait, when did I start breaking? Should I just say everything I said again?
Yeah, just from what you remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great, because I didn't remember that much. But anyway, yeah, the thing is sometimes you genuinely don't want to get better because you're so comfortable with being sad. And also if like you've not really like been working on your issues properly, or like with a therapist, or opening up, blah blah, or not really addressing the actual issues, like you convince yourself that you deserve to feel like that like that's what your life, like you're put on this earth to just be sad and be depressed, and like you're a waste of space. Like you convince yourself that you deserve that. So there were times I genuinely didn't want to get better. Like my friends, they'd come, they'd throw my blades away and stuff, but like they didn't know I had like 15 blades hidden all over my room. I had 2 blades in my school bag because like when it would get really tough, I'd actually cut it like in school, you know. So I just didn't want to get better. And I think the place for me, like it doesn't have to get here, but the place for me, I started saying, you know what, fuck it, I need to get better, was actually when I hit rock bottom. It was August 26, 2019. I talked about it when I didn't kill myself. I tried to kill myself, and I was in HDU. And actually what broke my heart was like for the next few months, every time I was in my house, even if I like just left the house like at like 10, I've gone to the roof to like go look at the stars and like just catch vibes and like, you know, just get some fresh air or whatever. My dad, even if he's sleeping, he would wake up and panic because he thought I'm trying to jump off or something. And for me, that broke my heart. And I was like, I'm never gonna do that to my family again. Like I'm never gonna make them so scared they leave me alone, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to hit rock bottom, but it doesn't always have to be like that for different people. But you actually have to work better. That's why if say this stuff of check on your friends, like check on your friends, but like you're not a professional, you know, you're not a therapist. And on top of that, you can have a therapist, friends, you can have all of that stuff, but like if some days it's just hard, bro, like, and some people it's just too hard for them to reach out. And I think people also need to understand that like you can't blame the people around the person, but you also can't blame the person, because having a mental illness is very draining. Like as much as I know my coping mechanisms, there's still days where I can't do shit but stay in bed. Like I like dead ass, I can't eat, I can't shower, I can't do shit. Like I just dead ass stay in bed and just cry like the whole day. And that's okay. I feel like we need to tell people that's okay. If all you can do today is survive, bro, survive. Because I know how hard that shit is to just stay alive. Like, bro, if all you can do today is survive, bro, it's okay. This whole pressure of telling people, no, you have to go take a jog. Like, yeah, if you can, do it. But if you honestly feel like, bro, today I cannot, like, I really cannot, I just need to stay in bed. We need to, like, normalize that. I've really gone on and on. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
It's your story. It's your story. Tell us.
Yeah.
It's actually also, it's teaching me so much, you know, like, honestly, hearing it from this side, like, you know, it's opening my eyes to a lot, you know, because I guess, you know, we also assume a lot of things, you know, we also assume it's easy to, like, tell someone, do this, you know, do that. But like you said, sometimes it's just, you just need to survive, you know, because the weird thing is, I think the week after my birthday, like, 2 of my really, really, like, close friends, like, called me in a span of like 2 days, and they both told me, yo, me, I'm going, actually 3, like and they all told me, yo, me literally, I'm going through the worst, you know, like Tupac, I don't know what to do. And I remember they called me like each, like I think it was a span of like 5 days, and I remember like we even both cried on the phone, you know, like just talking about it, and you know, like trying to like make him feel better. And like you said, sometimes we tell people like, you know, go out there, jog, you know, try and release that negative emotion, when sometimes you should just be giving them incentives
Yeah.
just to survive, you know, just to hold on. Like I get what you're saying.
Exactly, because also the other thing I hate about people saying this stuff, like, don't get me wrong, it is good to keep yourself active and like take a jog or draw or do something creative. That's amazing. That's a great healthy coping mechanism. But the thing I hate is like sometimes people do that to distract themselves. And I feel like that's the mistake we make. Like you get depressed and you're like, oh holy shit, I'm depressed. Now I need to be happy. Bro, you're depressed. Of course you're gonna be fucking depressed. Like duh, you're gonna get depressed. Like, but what matters is like, okay, do you address the feeling? Do you like write it out? Do you feel through it? Because also what I found is a lot of the time I used to run away from some of these feelings. And I'm not saying like embrace them and all be in your room and watch sad shit so that you get depressed. No. But like when the feeling does come, like feel it like lightly. Like don't focus so hard on, oh shit, I'm depressed, I'm failing, I thought I was getting better, blah blah. Like understand that you're gonna have depressive episodes. If you have depression, when you have BPD, you're gonna have mood swings, you're gonna randomly get angry, you're gonna randomly get happy, you're gonna randomly like be anxious. Like it's gonna happen, you know. It's the same way if someone had epilepsy, you're not gonna get mad at them and be like, oh, a fucking again when they get like a epileptic attack. No, they have a disease and you deal with it, and there are things you do. So with mental health, it's the same thing. I feel like people usually judge someone. They're like, oh, but I thought you hadn't cut in so long, and then someone cuts. And they like make them feel like shit. But like no, relapsing is sometimes part of the process, and relapsing does not erase progress. And that's what a lot of people forget. Like even if you have a bad day, even if let's say you slipped up and you didn't say the nicest thing to someone, or you lashed out at someone, or even you hurt yourself, like I'm not saying do it obviously, but even if you do that, don't beat yourself up about it. It's the same way like if someone had diabetes and like they ate the wrong thing and they'd be like, oh shit, they're not gonna like beat themselves up about it. So like we shouldn't do that either. We need to start treating mental illnesses as diseases like any other, because that's when we can start having open, honest conversations about them, because they are diseases. Like there's nothing wrong with people. They're not like crazy or special or whatever people. No, I'm just a human with a different type of disease, you know.
That makes sense. And to be honest, I've actually not really properly thought about it like that. That like
Yeah,
it's
even
actually,
me.
yeah, like it's actually a disease, and like you know, one day you can be good, the next day you can, you know, like I've never actually thought about it like that, and that makes
Bro, it's
a
like
lot of
that knee
sense.
of yours. One day you can play football nicely, the next day
Yeah,
you're going
it's
therapy.
exactly same,
You're going therapy to
same.
put those needles in your knee.
Exactly. The only difference is you can see. You see, with me, you can't see it unless I tell you. But then the thing is, in African culture, there's so much stigma against these things
Yeah.
that like no one wants to talk about it, or so and so is labeled mad. They're not mad, bro. They just need help. Like it's okay, because for me, when I'm on my meds, when I'm having like a good stable week or something, I'm so afraid. Like you wouldn't think, or whatever people make it seem like you have a mental illness, like you'd be crazy or whatever. Like no one ever realizes till I'm like, oh yeah, BTW, I have like BPD, and they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're like, I'm a normal person, guys. I take my meds every morning, every night, and I'm good. You know, and I do my therapy.
But
all of that.
you know, but from actually also what you've shared, like you have very like, you know, supportive parents, because there's like a therapist I talked to, and she was telling me that majority of the people would rather not like treat that issue. You know, they're so embarrassed about it, especially like fathers, you know. So, you know, they'd rather hide it. And, you know, when she also said that, I asked myself, like, is this why there's like problem with boys? And if you look at it, like of late, the boys' statistics with suicides, especially in Kenya, is much higher than the girls. So, you know, does it like start like, you know, from that whole circle? You know, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not even of late. The statistics of male suicide have always been higher around the world. You can look at it like always. It's always been that way. And I think that's not even just like, excuse me, but feminists worry me about to come out. But that's not even just because of parents. It's also because of like internalized misogyny. From a young age, boys are told don't cry, don't cry, don't do this, you're like a girl if you do that, blah blah blah, and all of that. But like, bro, crying is the first thing we ever did. Like, we literally came straight out of the womb, straight to crying. Nothing, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, why are we saying it's a like pussy thing or whatever? Like, bro, crying is normal, you know.
Wow.
And when you're told those things from a small age, it actually gets you. You don't realize it, but if you're constantly told as a man, don't cry, then in the movie, the guy who cries, he's picked on, he's bullied, he doesn't get the babes, he doesn't do this, blah blah, all of that. Especially as black men, you're told this: be gangster, be tough, be strong. I hate when people say, no, I'm weak right now. I'm having a weak moment, and that is okay. That doesn't make me any less strong to be weak right now. It makes me strong that I'm able to be vulnerable. And I hate that men are made to feel like that, like they can only be vulnerable like with maybe their girlfriend or something. Then this guy loses his girlfriend. He loses it because like he has no one to talk to. You get?
Wow.
Guys,
You've come with some serious knowledge.
I've come with facts.
That's very true. That's very true.
So it's even a conversation that needs to be had with even just guys in general in their age group. Because like, as much as us, we can talk about it, even like me, the three of us here, right?
Yeah.
It's something that we need to start bringing up in public. And I started doing that. I've started having uncomfortable conversations. And I don't care if like it makes people not want to invite me to plot or do this or whatever. I will have that uncomfortable
I'll invite
conversation.
you for plot, man. You're too wise. Say less. Come here.
But yeah.
But I got.
Well, that's facts. Like what she said is very true, huh?
The first thing we actually did was all cry, man.
And that's
and to break that stigma, you know, me and I started actually breaking that stigma. I think I've seen all my closest boys cry, and I think vice versa, they've seen me cry as well, you know. And I actually don't feel like a pussy about it or any weaker about it, you know. Like, I just actually feel human that I can actually be in touch with my feeling around actually people who care about me, you know.
Exactly. Like, how is feeling feelings weak? What the hell, bro? That's what they're for. Like, you're meant to feel them. What? It makes no sense. I've never understood that. And like, it's something guys really need to be told over and over again. It's okay. What you're feeling is valid. And even this is something I started practicing, is when someone opens up to me, I tell them, thank you for being vulnerable with me. Thank you for sharing me. I know that must have been hard. I know that must have been tough, especially when it's a guy, because I want them to acknowledge that even though they may be feeling weak, what they just did, being vulnerable, sharing how you feel, even though your brain is probably telling you, oh my gosh, you're crazy, you're alone, when you're not. But like, doing that, it takes strength. And I feel we need to acknowledge that. But because we make it seem weak, guys just, they don't do it. And it's upsetting.
But I get what you're saying, man. It's a good point, man. Like,
yeah,
it's a very good point, man. Kwame, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, that's very true. And like, you know, it's always good to speak about something with someone who's been through it, like, you know, to the fullest. We've all go through episodes of sadness, depression, whatever, but now you've gone through it like to the fullest. And I'm happy that you're also able to open up, and, you know, because this is also something people don't talk about. People go through this on their own. You know, most people won't start telling you, oh, I went through this, you know, so
yeah,
that's really good. And I just hope your story can inspire people, or anyone who's going, including ourselves, you know, anyone who, ourselves meaning Tupac and I, anyone who's going through, you know, any episodes that can inspire them to just be strong and, you know, just survive, as you said, and, you know, just come out of it stronger, and, you know, just take each day at a time.
I was just gonna actually.
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
No, go.
Should I go? Do you go?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I was just gonna say something. When people say stuff like, "Oh my gosh, like you've been through it," like, I mean, thanks, I have, but like, I also like, I think it's important to also not minimize what other people have been through. You know, like whether you drowned at like 15 feet of water or 30 feet of water, bro, you drowned. You know, like
facts.
You were
but
drowning.
Where I was coming from is like the sense that, you see, you've been through it to the extent of like even trying to almost taking your life away. You know, most people have been through it, but maybe not to that extent. Like maybe they've thought about it. You know, they've like played with the idea, but they've never actually tried. And if you've done that, and you've still come out of it, stronger. So
Stronger.
basically, I just want you to be able to inspire.
Oh no, I
people,
completely understand. No, I completely understand. I was just saying that for for anyone who's listening and maybe is like, because for me there were a lot of times in my life where like shit was great, man. Like I'm doing amazing in school, like I'm having fun with my girls every weekend, like shit was great, and I was still depressed. So like if anyone's listening and that's you, like bro, don't feel bad. It's okay. Like it's a disease. Like it will come even when your life is going great. So like don't invalidate your feelings. I think that's a habit we do a lot as humans. We invalidate our feelings all the time. We'll be like, oh, but so and so is going through this, so I shouldn't feel. Like, nah, it's cool, bro. Like, I mean, yes, they have been through it, and like you can sympathize with them and whatever, but like also understand that even if something is tough for you, that's okay. And that's something I've had to learn, especially with BPD, because BPD, like the smallest things trigger you. Like the smallest things, like literally my pen can drop in class and I'll lose it. I'll be like, bro, I'll break down. Like the smallest things trigger me. Like maybe something big happened the week before, but I won't actually confront that until my pen drops, and then I'll lose my shit, So that type of thing. So it's important as humans not to invalidate how we're feeling. Even if you feel like you're overreacting, you're not. Your feelings are valid. You can't feel wrong. It's how you feel. What affects like whether something is wrong is how we act afterwards. That's what affects, like, oh, are you gonna lash out? So like the times I've lashed out, I've been like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. I apologize to the people who I hurt. I reach out, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I lashed out. And also take accountability. Like, yeah, as much as I have BPD, I should have known better. I know my coping mechanisms and I should have done them. So you acknowledge that and stuff. But like, don't invalidate your feelings, especially as guys. Like, you guys need to feel that shit, man. You feel it. Like, tell your homies, because like that's how we end up keeping telling ourselves like so and so is going through so much, I don't want to stress them. Like even when I'm going through shit and my friend comes and talks to me, like I'm never like, oh my god, they're bothering me, so I don't understand why normally we feel that way about other people, like, oh, maybe I'm bothering them, so never invalidate your feelings. But that's all I have talked.
One
that's the
thing,
point of having you here.
Yeah, it's your story to tell us. We're here to listen, to learn as well, Yeah, one more thing is, you told me there's something you disagreed about that we said on the last podcast. So please tell us. Even as we're here to learn.
Oh no, I kind of already touched on it. The whole thing of invalidating the feelings, and also the going on, like when you tell people like, oh, just take a walk, that type of vibe. Like I understand you guys didn't mean it from a bad place, obviously. Like everyone is. I always tell people, what do you call it? Like, it's okay to realize when you maybe said the wrong thing, but like don't beat yourself up for like decisions you made with like different information. Like at that time you didn't have the information and whatever. You're doing the best you could with what you have. So I completely understood that. That's why I didn't want to say, like, even on the podcast, I disagree with you guys. Like, I was just gonna touch on it lightly, But yeah, so basically just sometimes people can't take a walk. Sometimes you genuinely can't. Like, it's just too hard. Like, there are even days, I'm so fortunate. My best friend lives in the same estate as me. So there are even days I'll literally call her over. I know, right? 9 years, it's so late. But yeah, she's actually here right now. But anyway, there are even times I would call her and I'd just be like, bro, I don't need you to do anything except just sit here in this room and be quiet with me. Like, do not talk, just sit, So like, there are days you can't really do anything. You just need comfort or whatever. But it's important to start reaching out to your friends. And also, as a friend with someone who maybe has a mental illness, or your girlfriend, your brother, your parent, your cousin, also I've started asking people when they reach out to me, okay, right now, what do you need from me? Do you need comfort? Do you need a distraction? Do you need to vent? So that we can actually start giving people what they need. Because I've realized sometimes you can be giving someone advice and they're like, bro, I just need someone to listen. And you're over here telling them, no, look at the bright side. And maybe they just want to rant it out and just vent and just cry it out, So it's important to also ask people, like, what you need from me? How can I help you? It's basically like, a lot of times I see on Twitter people talk about love languages and only in relationships. And I'm like, no, friendships are relationships too. You should also ask your friends what they need from you. What are their love languages? And all that type of stuff. We can be better friends. Yeah, why are we only good people for our boyfriends? No, be your friend.
And your girlfriend or boyfriend will come and go, but your friends have a chance of sticking by you.
Too on Twitter, you're being laughed at. Now look. Now look, you're sad.
Wow. Yo, but
You know,
yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say. I think on our part, like it's been quite eye opening. And this is some of the reasons why we started this podcast, just to to teach people, like for people to learn, for people to feel, to open people's eyes through personal experiences and everything, and to talk
yeah.
about things that people don't talk about or shy away from talking about. But for me personally, I've learned so much, and I am extremely grateful that you've come, you've spoken to us, you've spoken to them, and I know for sure I've learned something, and I know for sure for anyone who listens to this, they will definitely learn something. There's so much to learn about. And I know, like, because of the growing issue around mental illness, we each know someone, or there's someone we know that, or someone, that's close to us. And it teaches us a lot. Like you said, sometimes some people just want to vent, some people just want to cry, some people want a distraction. And, that's, for me, like, I think ever since I started this podcast, a lot of people have, approached me and shared with me, like, the different things they're going through. And I think I've always reacted the same way and not bothered to listen to what they actually want. And all I've just said is, no, do this, do that, do that. But maybe they actually just reach out to me for someone to talk to. So, like, what you've shared to me it's been quite eye-opening, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you.
Yo, Kwame,
Yeah.
closing
Same
remarks.
here. As I said, yeah, I'm glad that we could have you, and you've shed a lot of light, and thank you so much for even having the courage to speak about it. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, we should all go for lunch.
Yay, man.
For
We
sure.
should. Oh, wait, I do have something else to say.
Tell us.
Guys, calm hum. It's calm like be calm, and hum like hum. Like calm hum. It's an app. It stops you from hurting yourself when you have an urge. It has really like so many different categories. Like there's comfort, distraction, like vent, like all these different stuff. And each one has like 40 different activities you can do. And then there's this app. It's called Clear Fear. That one is for anxiety. It's really good. It's like it's actually by the same guys of Calm Hum. And like it also has like 40 different activities in like 6 different categories of stuff. And then as well, if you need somewhere to vent, because sometimes I like venting to strangers. I know that sounds really weird, but like venting to a stranger anonymously is amazing. So there are these apps called Vent and Whisper, and you're anonymous and you can just like vent and like rant and like emotional vomit on people. And like it's okay because they're all there for the same thing. And then there is a center. There's a center next to Brayside. It's called Gustani Center. It is a mental health center and rehab. It is really good. If you go there, my favorite counselor personally there is Zawadi. They have doctors there, so you can get diagnosed, tested, and everything. Your medicine there, and they have another branch, Chiroma Lane in Westlands. So that's what I
Hey,
have
that's
to say.
proper, man. Thank you so much for sharing, all of that info. Yeah, that's proper. And what even I believe even with this podcast, even as long as one person gets, a message or just something out of it, then, like that's all that matters.
It's true. It just needs to change one person, because that's the effect, man.
Yeah.
The butterfly effect.
I think we've come to the end of the show. So I think everyone can give their party shot and we can call it a night.
Let's start with Warimi.
We can start with you.
Deuces. I'm out. But yeah, bye. I had so much fun. This was fun. I've never done a podcast before, but thanks for having me. And yeah, check on yourselves today. And like, actually, you know what we should do before we close?
Yes, tell us.
We should just like, this is something I try to do every day so that I notice, because I romanticize your life, like just be in love with your life, like make everything like a movie, And so what I do is every day I tell myself something I'm proud of myself for. And it kind of helps you realize that even if like you feel like everything is falling apart, you realize, oh, well, I did something today. So like today I'm proud of myself for doing this podcast. What are you guys proud of?
Wow, that's a tough
Me,
question.
no clap, I've slept the whole day.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
I'm proud of you for letting yourself rest.
We're proud of you.
Today I chilled. Yeah.
Not every day work. Not every day. Relax.
we're proud that you woke up to do the podcast. That's a big
Yeah.
step.
At least I
Wow.
was gonna sleep through the podcast, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know. I think I'm proud of where I am right now at life. Like it's been a tough year, but I'm actually proud of where I am currently. And yeah,
I'm proud of you.
and I'm definitely proud of this podcast. Like it's been a long journey. I've been scared to start it because of so many reasons, like what people would say, and but I'm proud of it where it is now. I'm proud that I have a co-host who's almost as wise as me.
Who's a gangster?
But yeah, but thank you for also teaching us that. I think like also one of the things that I've learned from Kwame is he loves himself too much, and when you love yourself that much, there's so much you can do, like the other day I took the guy for a pedicure. He sat
Okay,
for
that's
sat
not
for
loving
two-
yourself. That's
No,
being
but
decent.
imagine
Congrats, Kwame. You're a decent man. Good job.
imagine he made me sit with him for 2 hours as I watched him get a pedicure.
As you should. Why did you get one? You sat for 2 hours and you didn't think maybe my
He's
toes
a
are
broke
too
boy.
crusty. You don't have to. Actually,
And then-
let me even send you.
And this
After this end, there's a lady who comes to the house. I'm sending you.
and then this guy, he shaves his hair, I don't know, once a week, and then he puts his name, like the things he does.
Hey, Kwame, as you should.
You have to love yourself.
But it's actually very important to love yourself.
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself because even just that's the other thing. Okay, I've talked.
It's okay, don't
But-
worry. We're
We'll
all here
edit
to
it.
learn.
But the other thing about self-love is I realize self-love is not something, the way you're normally like, you look online and you're like, I wish I loved myself like so and so. Bro, what's stopping you? You start. Like self-love is literally you just start. Like it's consciously deciding every day, you know what? I am going to make a conscious effort to love myself. It's every single time you get a bad thought. And I actually say this out loud. I'll say out loud, Warimi, stop. No, you're not doing, no. I'll even say, go away. No. You have to say it because what affects the way we behave, the way we think affects the way we feel, which affects the way we behave. If you allow those thoughts to continue, you're gonna feel like shit. You will treat yourself like shit. You will date shit people. You will have bad friends. You will just surround yourself with shit. But if you try to change the way you think, you can change the way you feel, which changes the way you act, and then your whole life turns around. A minor shift, this is what my therapist loves to say, a minor shift causes a major change. So every day I try to do small things that I'm like, you know what, I'm showing myself I love myself. So when I feel like crap, I'll be like, let me do like a face scrub, let me do like something cute, like mud masks, or let me beat my face, or I'll be like, I'm gonna like go out and take myself like window shopping and just feel myself and or do things that just remind myself who I am. I'll be like, I'm gonna write a poem, I'm gonna sing a song, I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna do this. Like I remind myself who I am, and like it makes you fall in love with yourself. And I don't understand why as people we're like, okay, I'm gonna start a journey of self-love, then 2 weeks from now you're sad, you're like, fuck, I've failed. No, bro, relax. Like if your partner came to you, if a girlfriend came to you and she told you, babe, I'm sad today, and then you told her you're beautiful, or she's insecure, you told her you're beautiful, she's okay, then the next day she comes and says, oh my god, I don't feel beautiful again, would you be like, damn bitch, I told you yesterday? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be like that. You'd be like, hey, like you're beautiful again. And we need to practice that patience ourselves, because we have so much patience for other people. Be patient with yourself, because there are gonna be times, even though you love yourself, you're gonna enter a negative state, and that's okay. Self-love is not a state of thinking, oh my gosh, my body is perfect. Self-love is a state of my body isn't perfect, and that's okay. That is okay.
Yeah, true.
I don't like, and that's okay. I'm going to have times where I don't like my flaws, and I'm gonna have days where I'm like, you know what, I'm the baddest bitch in Nairobi, and that's okay. But part of self-love is the days when I don't feel like I'm the baddest bitch. What do I do about it? Do I sit in my room and allow those thoughts to continue to spiral? Or do I actively do something to try and make it better? And that's how you start to love yourself. And it even gets easier. These people who you see that love themselves, they didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm tired of hating myself, man. Okay, let's start this self-love shit. No. They worked towards it. The same way you'd work towards a relationship with someone. You have to date yourself. You have to love yourself the same way you would someone else. it, like even not just someone else relationship wise, like even friendship wise, like if your friend was down, you'd constantly tell them how good they are, you'd hit them up, you check on them, check on yourself, ask yourself, how are we feeling today, Waremi? How are we feeling today, Tupac? How are we feeling? Like, what are we doing? You know, you ask yourself that, and you even journal or do something, and you actually find the change is phenomenal. Like even I've started following influencers who look like me, and the body positivity like I've gained is like it's huge. The confidence is huge. Like to follow people who look like you, it actually changes something. And also just following pages that are positive and give you positive content, because the social media is like a diet, yeah. And if you take in a lot of bad stuff, you're gonna have like toxic insides, you know. But if you take in good stuff, you have a good, like, you know, good outlook on life. So that's what we should also focus on. What do you take in your media? Like the same way you watch your diet, you should watch what you take in on social media, who you follow, what they post, all that stuff. Hilarious I'm saying this and I'm chaotic on Twitter, but yeah.
Wow, I think it's like been an amazing session. So for real, for now,
Now
thank
we're
you.
done.
Yeah, now we're done. Now we're done. Yo, thank you everyone for listening in. We really appreciate.
Akili is my key. Huwezi iba kitu. You see fakes and I see through. You get pesa ya me too. Lights in my room blue. Mimi pimp, I pimp my room. Ongea, I pimp your chick too. Oh boy, you look like crystals. Police see that's an issue. Baby, what you telling me? See me, I'm with the gang, lazima hustle. Yeah. Na bado demons chasing me. Bado I'm still dipping double.